Megan is a great friend of the Hardcase Crime family. However, her publisher is Simon & Schuster, so credit where credit is due. And we're going to start with a piece of Queenpin, which is currently nominated for the most prestigious award in the field of mystery writing, the Edgar Allan Poe Award, Best Paperback Original, and I bet it wins.
Thank you. Basically, the premise in this book, I'm just going to read a few pages, and we have other selections, is I always love those old pulp paperbacks of the stories of the aging criminal who finds a young protege and sort of schools him in the ways of the crime world. So Queenpin is sort of the female version of that, and it's about one of those women that moved money for the mob and would carry jewels from place to place, and one of those sort of exotic mall types. And she finds a young protege who's the narrator here. And just like in those stories with the two men, it's always the student and the teacher, it's always a woman that comes between them. Well, in this case, it's a man. I want the legs. That was the first thing that came into my head. The legs were the legs of a 20-year-old Vegas showgirl, 100 feet long and with just enough curve and give and promise. Sure, there was no hiding the slightly worn hands or the beginning tugs of skin framing the bones in her face. But the legs, they lasted, I tell you. They endured. 2 decades her junior, my skinny matchsticks were no competition. In the casino, she could pass for 30. The low lighting, her glossy auburn hair, legs swinging, tapping the bottom rim of the tall, better stools. At the track, though, she looked her age, even swathed in oversized sunglasses, a wide-brimmed hat, bright gloves. She couldn't outflank the merciless sunshine, the glare off the grandstand. Not that it mattered. She was legend. I was never sure what she saw in me. You looked like you knew a thing or two, she told me later, but were ready to learn a lot more. It was a soft sell, a long sell. I never knew what she had in mind till I had such a taste I thought my tongue would never stop buzzing. Meaning she got me in, she got me jobs, she got me fat stacks of cash too thick to wedge down my cleavage. She got me in with the hard boys, the fast money, and I couldn't get enough. I wanted more. Give me more. So she's taken under the wing, this narrator, and she begins rising in the ranks. She places bets at the racetrack. She starts moving jewels, and she really develops a taste for it, and her mentor warns her to watch herself. Never fuck up, she told me once. That's the only rule. You never made a mistake? Not one in all these years? I asked. Mixing up numbers, late to the track, one drink too many, and you start talking too much to the wrong fella? She looked at me in that icy way of hers. Then, in a flash of the hand, she tugged open her crepe de chine jacket, buttons popping. There, on the pale, filmy skin stained over with wrinkles, I saw the burn marks, long, jagged, slipping behind her bra clasp, slithering down her sternum. How? I started, my mouth a dry socket. State trooper pulled me over for speeding downstate, she said, palm flat on her chest, patting it lightly. Made me open the trunk, tapped the sham bottom, and found $60K in hot rocks, each one a fingerprint. But that wasn't your fault, I said. I should have been more careful. I learned the hard way. The boss then, the big one, he watched while one of his boys did it. Pressed me against a radiator until the smell made us all sick. I learned the hard way. Now you've learned it easier. You don't need this on your fine chest. She fastened the mother of pearl buttons. So don't fuck up, baby. I won't, I said, and I meant it. But he was the one. I could feel the way it was going the minute I saw him losing his shirt at the tables. Loose and easy grin and a gambler's slouch, a back-patting, hand-shaking way of moving through a room. But when his eyes narrowed on me, his smile disappeared and I could feel him. I could feel him on me, my palms itching, I rubbed them together. I could feel it everywhere, something sharp pulsing under my skin. I'll crawl on my hands and knees for this one, I thought. I could feel I'm going to be on my hands and knees for this one. He saw it on me, too. He figured fast he had the upper hand. He was the first man I ever met. Things got pretty crazy right off. I couldn't help myself. I let him do whatever he wanted. Who was I to say no? There was nothing he could do I didn't want. Not even that. Okay, I'll tell you how it went. I was making my rounds at a new casino running on the lower level of Yin's Peking Palace. It was the last stop of the night, and I was tired. That night there was a lot of action at the roulette wheel in the back. Somebody had a real spinner going. Larry, the manager, was standing by the table, which meant whoever was winning big enough to demand a close eye. I slipped through the crowd of spectators, all eager to catch some of the luck. That was when I saw him standing at the table, eyes on the felt, all black mick hair and sorrowful eyes and a shark-skin suit cut razor sharp. He had some candy on his arm, a sometimes pay broad I knew from the lobby of the Fabian Hotel. Spin after spin, he must have pulled in close to $1,000, big money in these parts. It was like he'd set off some kind of crazy energy in the air around him. I liked it, but not that much, not yet. Golden numbers, Larry said to me quietly. Would you look? Gaffed wheel? I eyed the croupier who was sweating the attention from his boss. Larry shook his head. That's Vic Reardon. He's no worry of mine. He taps out here every night. He practically pays my salary and yours. Or he would if he had more than a red cent when he came in the door. Looks like his luck's changed. Don't count on it. And Larry was white. Just when everybody was urging him to stop, to walk away while the table was still hot, the guy gave a crowd a smarmy smile.
What? I'm gonna rat hole after this streak? If I'm gonna lose, it's gonna be right here with Mama.
He winked at the dealer. Sure enough, he did start to lose, and then he kept losing. The gaudy-colored stacks got smaller and smaller, the crowd slowly drifting away, and before I knew it, it was just Vic Reardon, his whore, and me. I couldn't stop watching. Something about the way he just kept going, never seemed frustrated, never lost his temper, just kept sinking, sinking. It wasn't until he'd watched his last 4 chips disappear behind the croupier's rake that he seemed to notice me. He looked over with a funny kind of smile, not like a man who just won and lost Blackbeard's booty. He looked at the wilting lily on his arm, her head darting around. She was eyeing greener pockets.
Some lucky piece, he said to her. I need something shinier. All your shine's rubbed off.
She shrugged. He shot a smirk my way.
There's the medal I want in my pocket.
I took a sip from my glass and didn't say anything.
Don't you owe me a drink for the show, he said. They should name a church after me after that sacrifice.
You'll rise again. I turned to leave. Already, though, I didn't want to go. His patter was nothing special, but there was some kind of crazy bravado, a drowning man wondering what the water would do to his new suit. Still, I started walking. He didn't follow. I thought he would, so I left the back tables, but I stuck around the joint, which meant something. I watched some baccarat, sucked on some pretzels, caught some gossip about a new carpet joint opening in the back of an appliance store downtown. He was at the bar when I saw him again. Someone bought you that drink.
You can always find a few knee-bending Catholics in these places. They'll always do a favor for a wayward soul.
He put a hand on the leather stool beside him and cocked his head. I didn't move. I felt like something was turning.
Come on, let's get drunk. I want to see you with a hair out of place.
His grin did me in. Before him, I'd never fallen for one, never bothered to look up for one who wasn't just a money clip to me. In all my girl years, I'd only rolled pro forma with high school boys, office boys, head knocking out Adam's apples in back seats, mouth dry and raw. By their closing shutter, I was already snapping my garters back up and biding my time for the finer things. All the ones before Vic Reardon. I was just killing time. They never made me want more. I wasn't drunk and neither was he, but we were standing by his car in the parking lot of Yin's. We were leaning close to each other. It was coming on 3 a.m.
It's too bad you're such a kid. Otherwise I'd take you home, mess up that fancy girl posture, bend you back a little, you know?
Who says I'm a baby? I've been in long pants for years.
Are you kidding?
He put his hand on me just above my chest.
I bet I could smell Mama's milk on your breath.
Come close and I'll open wide and you can see. No milk teeth. He moved closer and his smile reminded me of the wolf in bedtime stories. When I was a kid, whenever my sisters would tell me fairy tales, running their fingers up my arms and legs, I always felt it for the wolves. Narrow eyes, teeth glittering like a handsaw. The wolves were waiting, but you had to put yourself in a dangerous place first. You had to play your part. I would dream myself into the thicket, swinging a basket, whistling a tune, waiting for the growl, the flashy yellow eyes, the sudden pillage, the blood tear. The wolf got you where it counted. When Vic got that close, that's what it was like. I'd invite him in with his sharp cologne, his darting eyes, his pocket empty of chips, all his spoils gone by night's end, as if he had holes in the lining, which in a way he did. He was a loser, straight up, a chalk jumper, a sucker better, but his hands tore me to ribbons and left me that way.